everybody, Danny Griffin with another Monday Mojo. Here's this week's quote. Do you wish to rise? Begin by descending. You plan a tower that would pierce the clouds? Lay first the foundation of humility. That comes from St. Augustine, 354 to 430 AD, philosopher and theologian. So, off we go in pursuit, the forward-marching, goal-seeking organisms that we are, grinding away, accumulating stuff, and taking just enough off the top for fuel to keep us alive. We can even see ourselves as we peer down upon that ant colony. Just a massive movement coming and going back and forth. So, are we winning? How do we even measure victory? What does it look like? How does it smell? And once we get it, is it even enough to satisfy the inner drive to achieve? Well, at the risk of sounding patronizing, or even worse, depressing, maybe we need to take a regular look at what we're really after. The poor seem to dream of being rich, the rich of finding peace, and the powerless of attaining great strength. Now throw in some religion and politics, and you have a downright free-for-all. Who has what versus those that don't? It sounds so ridiculous. We argue back and forth at who's right and who's wrong. Talking heads jump on the TV and internet and agitate away until they create enough attention to self-fulfill. We even line up in a hurry to join the fight. But again, where does this all leave us? Well, if we look at our short lives as a construction project, then perhaps it makes sense to step back and take a look at what we've built so far. Just as if we were house hunting. We certainly know the neighborhood and style of the house we dream of, so how does our life that we've built so far look? Okay? For most of us, we're very tough self-critics. We seem to notice the glaring faults, the chipped paint, the cracked window, the rotten trim, the tired roof. Now maybe some of us have spruced up the landscaping a bit, but we still see the problems. Now the hardest part is that these faults are the obvious ones, but what about the even harder to see issues? What about the wiring and the foundation itself? While we were so busy painting and landscaping, we forgot about the core. Perhaps we've neglected the cornerstone. You see, no matter how hard we work on the exterior, it's really the bones that matter the most. So let's go back and ask some provocative questions. What's the ground even like that we chose to site the house on? Is it rocky? Or even worse, sinking sand? Is it in a floodplain or muddy hillside? Sure, maybe it looked enticing when we first chose the location, but in the long run, was it or is it still the best choice? Did we take the time to properly survey the land and fortify the foundation in case of severe weather? Because of course the storm eventually comes our way. Remember that good old story about the three little pigs? Well, the wolf, he eventually showed up and was downright hungry, wasn't he? He was also fairly relentless in his pursuit of those three little snacks. At first, it looked like the wolf would have his way, but one of the three had thought well ahead. Maybe he caught some wind from the others as it took him a bit longer to work on his house, but time proved him to be the smartest. Now the good news was that he was a sharer and took great pride in his foresight and quickly took in his buddies. The best part is that thanks to that little house built on the solid foundation, the wolf came up short. So maybe we should all take a few minutes to poke at our own houses and see if they're made of sticks and straw or solid brick. Because it's never too late to firm it up before the wolf comes. Hey, this is Danny Griffin with another Monday Mojo brought to you by freethinkingtools.com, reminding you to think and thrive. We'll see you next week.